Yeah, true.
And if that lane fails somehow, they're in huge trouble.
Kind of hard to feel,
Yeah.
feel that lane, right? Because Darkseer SB against, it's gonna be Dazzle and Venge.
Yeah.
So there's a very good chance of them succeeding in the lane.
Well, we're gonna find out if they're gonna do that, and when those rotations come in from both the teams, we are gonna go for a quick break from our sponsors, and when we're back, it is time for LD and Gods with our first game of the day, Navi versus EG.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we're actually live and ready to go now. Navi taking on EG Gods. This is an exciting match. Navi have not looked like the Navi of old, but they have been making some strides with the addition of Ditya Ra, and we've seen Axmo actually filling in pretty nicely for the team. Definitely still underdogs. How do you feel about the drafts? Well, I guess first point here, before we get into the draft analysis, is that Winter was wrong, and
yeah,
we're already grooming his replacement here in Scat, who is off to a hot start on day number one.
It's a good thing we brought Scat along. I could already tell Winter was on the fall. Like, he peaked at the eye maybe with his draft prediction, but
get your shit together, Winter.
Yeah.
You're on your home turf here in Minsk. It is really
home
cold.
turf?
It's Winter's homeland.
Yeah.
He
struggles more in the cold
kingdom
than
of
anyone.
Winter.
He actually is the opposite of his name. But in the drafts, I think two kind of different approaches to how the new patch is going to be played. As far as looking kind of to play kind of stalling Dota on the east side of EG, play more towards the late game into kind of reactionary Dota, whereas Navi are going to be the ones who are going to be dictating the pace of the game and deciding kind of where the action happens.
And definitely the team that needs to be. You look at their draft, they have mainly Puck as the hero that can actually catch out an Ember later on. And I would say one of the better heroes in the game to catch Ember, but it goes late. You're going to need that Hex. We might have a Lincoln Sphere. They have some good defensive supports like the Venge, so it's not an easy game to deal with.
Yeah. So I think they're going to hit this good mid-game kind of timing where they've got the right items to be able to handle the Ember, but if they don't punish him enough or if they don't win the game during that period and get far enough ahead, then they're going to be in trouble. So
I like how Dendy's all smiles, and then I believe that's their manager or maybe their coach who just looks like he's going to kill somebody if they don't get their act together. But here we go, guys. Welcome. It is day one of StarLadder I-League Season 13. Here in Minsk, we're getting ready for the group stages, and we begin with EG taking on the underdogs in Navi. But Navi, come main event, should they make it there, will definitely have some big route support.
I mean, the analyst talked to me about the Darkseer Spirit Breaker lane getting something done, but it looks like it's going to be Darkseer in the safe lane, at least start things off with Navi trying to contest bottom lane, which is an interesting choice. Gyrocopter down here getting aggressive. It is a very strong dual lane for EG with Venge as the core with the Dazzle, but then you've got the jungling here, which is kind of where Navi decided, okay, you're going to run a greedy jungler, we're going to pressure lane. Something that used to happen quite a lot against in mid drafts was just these aggro tri-lane versus dual lane setup.
And then you often see the kind of like, keep away game where Enigma goes to the ancients or, sneaks into your jungle and just tries to avoid those early confrontations. EG, 3 heroes camping out the top rune, so it is in fact going to be Universe on the Omni as we were watching the draft here in the casting booth. This you thought would definitely be the case, and it's a very level dependent hero, so that's where putting him in the off lane quite a bit of sense. That's another thing I think worth mentioning is they don't really have a great solution for repel this game either, so should it go late, killing that Ember will be.
So Darkseer versus Omni 1v1. Darkseer favorite matchup, but I think an Omni at least will be happy because this is a hero who isn't picked at the moment, not because he's weak by any means. You look at what this hero can do around like the level 8, 9, 10 mark with just basic items he owns.
Oh, Samiko sneaking in the roaming courier snipe on the west. He knows that Salve is here. Hey, Donkey, how you doing? He gets the job done. Nice pick there by Snako. Get game one underway, and with this build, that means he's not going to actually have the bottle go for a while, but he Salve deal with the harassment. So may need the support to camp out the lane a little bit.
And we talked about Navi. The analysts talked about, okay, Navi, Winter, they'll, around first cooldown, they'll start getting aggressive. It's kind of like, oh, the Darkseer Spirit Breaker in lane. No, it's even earlier and with other heroes. Like the Courier Snipe, you've got a Spirit Breaker bullying the support Dazzle. Like, this is Navi going all out of
They warded off the jungle, and now they are charging onto Mr. PPD. Gets caught by the initial charge. Some harass here from Snako. Do they want to dive fully? Not ready to commit. They are keeping the pressure on pretty much everywhere, and you see the Enigma as they look to dive this bottom lane has rotated up to the top side of the map, so he's not able to really assist the tri-lane. Fear will get his early levels, but just any second now, it feels like this bottom lane could erupt in a bloodbath.
I think if you look at the vulnerable lanes for Navi, it's top. So something like an Enigma around level 4, you have 2 points in stun or 2 in the conversions, you can actually kill a Daxia. So if you're EG and you're thinking, okay, this lane state's going to go bad, where can we pressure them? You're looking at that Daxia and how he's vulnerable early on.
I love how they've done this, where they get the courier, and then normally your mid is go. Oh, Soneko getting caught out very far up, but he's going to pop the Fairy Fire, survives for now. There's the charge forward. Can they bring down Mr. Merry Day? Oh, he is going to manage to back out, so our team survive for now, but they're going to continue harassing PPD, and they have a creep wave. Wonder if they're going to consider a secondary charge. Easy is salving up now. Should be okay. Over in the mid lane, Sumail out of regen. And he's gonna have a little bit of time before the bottle can arrive, but he's actually going in. He gets the chains off on Dendi, fully committing for this and burns him down. First blood to Sumail. You snipe my courier. On that, Dendi.
That's
a great way to start the lane.
He was going to start getting bullied out of the lane anyway, so he's just like, if I can get this kill, like I want to go back and heal up anyways. I have no courier to bring my bottle, so he dies. He spends his money, buys his bottle, and loses nothing from it. So
and now he gets the free fountain trip as well, so he can actually get his items. Beautiful stuff. He'll respawn immediately. TP's in mid, and now Enigma has rotated back towards his own jungle. Looks like he has a camp available. Universe and Axmo. Just going to be trading experience here. It is a win by a slight margin for the Darkseer, but the lane's pushy in, so very easily equalized in terms of CS. And ultimately, if Omni is getting 3 levels, pretty happy with it.
Right now, it doesn't feel like the pressure from Navi has fully kind of translated into a big early game win for them. The courier snipe was nice, giving a bit of a gold boost, but I think if not for that courier snipe, you'd be looking at EG and like, man, they're crushing the lanes right now.
And Dendi's not out CSing the Emperor mid either now. With the death, especially, he's fallen quite far behind. Trying to trade blows, but over in this bottom lane. Charge, trying to find the angle. There is no stun opportunity, and now they get the rocket barrage going onto Arteezy, but he backs himself away. There's the bash for Yida art style. Job done though. The grave comes out from PPD. That's enough to save him, and then they turn lane into Soneko as well as art style. This Dazzle going full aggro. Venge will survive. May actually have to go back. Let's see if he's able to be healed up. And again in the mid lane, pressure comes in. Doesn't feel like Puck is really doing much here, but Artile looks to change it with the long-range charge. Chains may almost be cooled down by the time he arrives, and very easily be another feed towards Sumail, so they're gonna, in the end, decide not to go for it.
He needs something to sustain him up. Either go back to Fountain or just regen. He's actually going to take the bottle. Looks like he's going to secure the bottom rune for his team, so pick up Ratzal, and most importantly, he's level 2 right now. I feel like a lot of the aggression from Navi early on, from a level 1 Spirit Breaker, just isn't that potent. The charge just doesn't do anywhere near enough.
And that's why, when you heard Scat talking about it, then I think it's a very fair point. Generally, that's where you see the Dark Ear and Spirit Breaker working together, because he needs that extra damage from the Ion Shell.
All room for Ratzal. He hits way top, returns the bottle to Dendi, and
now gallops back towards the bottom lane.
Nice little way to not have to go back to Fountain.
But it doesn't seem... And not only are the lanes not going particularly well, but they're not shutting down the Enigma either, who's now back in his own jungle. Did deward the one observer towards mid. Art's going to get caught out. The haste is worn off. He does charge away, bashing both on the escape. And although he makes it out, again, it's Navi's plays just minimizing casualties, not actually getting kills.
And it's just so much downtime for his Spirit Breaker. He already spent the last minute, like from like 3:45 onwards, or like even before that, he was charged towards mid, then he like grabbed the bottle off the courier, grabbed bottom rune, then went top rune, then came back mid, returned the bottle, then he went bottom. Like he's not really getting much done on the map right now. Dendi
being hunted in the trees here. Can he make it out? Soneko's arrived and wants to turn it, gets the bottle up, but Sherlock Holmes is very healthy, and Sumail's going to come in for this. Dendi with the phase shift and the silence. Against Sumail a bit too far. Used all the remnants on offense, didn't quite connect on the first few, the damage, and then had nothing to retreat. So risky and aggressive play doesn't end up pinning.
It's the kind of aggression that Sumail's known for, and those are the plays he loves to go for. So normally paying off there. If not for the, I mean, one, Dendi just managing to get away from the fire remnants, and 2, the sneaker TP in, it would have been fine. So there was like 2 things that went wrong for him. So all in all, it was a good kind of play to go for, but didn't work this time.
Oh, early on, big jump in again. Sumail just going full aggression. He has no remnants.
TP. That's all right.
Yeah, I believe Dendi wanted to take the lane, but Dendi's gonna get chased. Sumail just doesn't care. Run him down to half already. So it really, we talked about the Ember as a late game threat, but Sumail's decided that he's a 4-minute threat. Appears to be paying off. Charge comes in position as PPD has that grave available. The heal bomb turns it a little bit, and they want to go aggressive onto Dira. Artso just praying for a bash, but not getting one. still diving, still committing. Digyara goes in, manages to isolate PPD, sweeps by him, and gets the rocket barrage solely on that hero towards the tail end of it. Then Fear Rise looks for the black hole, but does not find Digyara. He's still caught too. The heal bomb is going to fit Spearbreaker. Now Sineko in a lot of danger, has the tether out, but is he going to have a target? Just barely. Get me out of here, Digyara! And it looks like he'll make it popping the salve on the way out as is going to rotate onto that bottom rune, but doesn't look like he'll be able to get involved here in the end. Very back and forth exchanges.
Yeah, EG were ready to try and contest the bottom lane finally with the black hole timing, but they just lost a few heroes too early on. Like Navi going aggressive, like EG's like, okay, just bait him in, like I'm coming with the black hole, and then suddenly it's like, oh wait, we've already died, and then the black hole came and Venge and Dazzle were just not in fighting condition. So EG commit 4 heroes there and don't get the trade they were looking for, just finding 1 kill. And losing a couple. So that's the first black hole. I don't think you look at like, okay, black hole's on cooldown now. That's normally a spell you won't even see get used in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. But most importantly, like Navi just dealt with EG kind of first timing very well.
Speaking of timing, for one in the mid lane. A dive forward, the Remnant is going to connect on Dendy. He barely pops the coil in time, but that's not the Ios arrived. Sineko could be in danger here too. Repel deployed and chasing onwards with auto attacks, surviving for now while on the top lane. PPD also caught out. Looks like they're going to dive him and finish him off with the Iron Shell damage, then back to the bottom rune. At long last, Sherlock has been caught out. Needs that Watson, but didn't quite have him in the clutch. Rocket Barrage will complete the kill. Ends up being a 3-for-1 around the map, and Navi just constantly rotating and getting those +1s as EG continue to dive towers and make it easy for the rotations to actually have an impact in the fight.
It's crazy, like in somewhere I'm watching this thinking like, man, that first kill Sumail got where he solo kills Dendy maybe just like gave him too much confidence, because that's twice in a row now where he's gone a bit too aggressive and it's worked against him there. He got the first kill on Dendy, but then he chases the IO, which ultimately leads to his demise as well as Universe's with Gyrocopter rotating in. They should have just been happy with the puck kill, but he wanted more, and chasing with the kind of HP and money he had just wasn't going to work out with just a single rotation. So,
and at that point the flame guard had worn off. I believe might have been broken by Dendy's nukes or expired. So either way, it did not have the extra damage he was for. Style towards bottom here. So it looks like we maybe have a breather for a second, Gods. Looking at the 2 lineups, so we haven't talked much about timing windows or kind of draft strategies beyond EG wants this to go late and Navi want to keep the pressure up. What are you looking for from each of these teams?
I think for Navi to get their kind of core first items up, the Puck Blink, the Darkseer mech, and just Gyrocopter more than anything, just some levels. He's level 7, has a drum, so the kind of SMY type build up, and then they are ridiculously strong. For EG, I think it's going to come down to entirely stalling out, playing more for a late game. They can try and teamfight if they can like execute and get a really good black hole off, but in general, it's going to be Navi who are the kind of scarier lineup around that mid game period.
So really, just waiting on the blink is the big thing here.
Yeah, I think the Puck Blink gives them that kind of guaranteed ability to kill a hero like Ember Spirit if you can blink in and follow it up with some damage from a Spirit Breaker charge, whatever, or just some extra lockdown. So EG have to really play around that and have Universe on the Omni Knight in the right position to keep kind of his teammates alive, be it Artesia on the Venge, or more importantly this game, Sumail on the Ember.
But Blink is what they're waiting on. It might be a little while. Only about 600, 700 gold now up on the puck. Got a ways to go. Has been just honestly running for his life a lot from the Ember mid lane, and even with the TPs. Sumail's net worth slightly lower, but it's come at the cost of a lot of support rotation. He's just farming up the mid lane. Upper and spawns, a bounty to be grabbed here by the Ember Spirit, and as much as they've been hounded and constantly under pressure, they're getting their levels, they're getting their farm. The Jungle Enigma keeps them in the lead here in terms of experience, and now the mech timing. 10 minutes in, immediate response from the Darkseer mech. It is the double mech that Shiva was mentioning. She thinks mech is a big item in this patch.
Mech 1.2. So I think it matters more for Navi having a mech right now, just because I mean they have the better team fight all around. Like they're going to be the ones getting aggressive with charges, Dream Coil, Gyrocopter cooldowns.
They also have the worst sustain as well. Just really the IO to keep the team in fighting shape.
I mean, EG, their mech is still very important because it's great against Gyrocopter cooldown because it is AoE spread damage, but they're going to be looking to use their mech, their heals more in like when they're on the defense to save heroes, whereas Navi's trying to use it to allow them to go to
Dendy. They're going to make the jump here, swap into the black hole. Great combo play. No chance of escape. Houdini has been thoroughly caved.
Nice move.
And they even tried for a relocate here. Seneko
Darius rotating in though.
tried to bring him out, but it just wasn't in time. Dinyara arriving the cooldown, not very effective. Just barely clipping a couple of heroes, and immediately the heals come out. Suddenly, EG are back in full fighting force to counter mech for Maximo. Nobody dies. Everybody healthy. Mel just trading right clicks, but looks like he may want to re-engage. Universe is looking, commits the ultimate. G, a bit over eager there. Let's see if they still want to go. They have popped the weave. Black cooldown, the swap on cooldown, and the two other ults from the Omni and the Dazzle. They may play it safe. On the other hand, Navi, a little aggression.
5v5 mid, 12 minutes in, let's go. This is like overthrow or something right now. This is a fantastic LD.
I
from
want more of this.
Yeah.
Please.
Not that many people died. I mean, that's the nature of the mechs, the Omni, and having an IO as well. But great kind of initiation from EG with the swap into Black Hole, making sure that Puck went down at all costs. And they just knew any follow-up fight, like fighting with Puck not in the picture, they could get aggressive. They have a repelled Ember Spirit, kind of reminiscent of like the old school Liquid duo with the Ember Darkseid, where you're just getting super aggressive, except this is an Ember who doesn't die. He deals less damage, but having that kind of repel on him just means you can't really bring him down.
Nice work there by Navi, just managing to get the tether slow off. His art style snuck around Arteezy's rear, but he continues to back off another bash. The Grave committed the charge through to cancel it. Art style going very aggressive, and the cooldown comes through. Will clip the vent, finishes her off. PPD could well be next. He will be. Navi just diving, and so too is Dendy. Oh, the neutrals steal the kill on Sumail, but at least they get the kill there in the end. Fear even getting into the picture, got the counter kill on the island. Now Artstyle could be caught on the way out. The heal bomb from Universe slams the door. So it ends up being a 3 for 2, but one of them was a neutral heal. Still, in the end, EG, it's like they got the upper hand in that exchange. Oh, that's only 2 of the kills.
Yeah.
It's not showing them all. Probably a pretty easy.
Ember dying is going to constantly like EG, considering his item timings is the most important of any of their core heroes. You're not thinking like, oh, where's our Venge Farm? Where's that SMY or Helm of the Dominator? You're thinking, where is Ember's Boots of Travel Battle Fury? Like, he is getting his items online as fast as possible. So for Navi, that death there, very crucial, and the kind of heroes they lost aren't really as consequential.
Taking some harass between the double heal bombs, so that'll force him back a bit, but he is closing it on the blink. And Navi, we're in the bottom lane now. To take the tower, no defense from EG. They go split push top, rotating. It looks like 4 heroes towards that lane. See some very good deep wards by Navi, trying to get control of the EG side of the map, but EG just gonna play keep away for now.
And these are like, you love seeing these wards as a Spirit Breaker, being able to get vision from like so early to start your charges, and just know if heroes have backup as well. That's underneath an Observer ward.
That was the drive-by smoke.
Yeah, let's smoke my charging Spirit Breaker and myself right under a ward.
They saw that swap into Black Hole mid, and they're like, all right, we need some swag plays of our own, but this one not very effective.
I was trying to just use like a different item, like a bottle or something, and not entirely sure.
Yeah, all the ultimates online.
The Boots of Travel money for Ember, and there we go. Some Tower of Gold gonna secure that, but Puck's Blink coming up soon, so
probably can spam out this wave, and by the time that EG could actually commit to a tier 2, and elsewhere it's Navi's turn to apply a bit of split pressure. So we see the Venge rotating in. Swap available, believe it's still only level 1. Yeah, only level 7 here on that Venge. Time of it. Curious what the build will be for our team, but
for EG it's difficult to fight right now. They know that gyro bottom means there's an IO behind. Oh, they've
caught him out, tried for the TP, the old man turning it though, the heal comes out, they've got the repel, he's caught the whole Navi squad. They really need to end this fight in their favor. PPD keeps himself alive with the Grave, and they get completely slaughtered. Clean up in aisle 3 from Sumail, looking for more. Yaram, they get 4 heroes down. EG, my god, that looked bleak, but they turned it, and
yeah, everyone survives
final.
a Black Hole. You're like, if you're a Navi, you're like, sweet, Black Hole didn't kill any of us. Let's fight. We just got this gyrocopter relocated, and then suddenly Sumail's there. And hit 4 or 5 heroes with he triple Fire Remnant in to maximize the damage output there. He's like, he's not thinking, I need a Fire Remnant in and save one to escape. He's like, no, let's just do as much damage as possible. And that Remnant in like got everyone down to critical HP before the Flame Guard finished them off. So being able to do that much damage with just like the Boots of Travel and Ember Spirit was just
and they're getting even more sustained now. As we see Fear picking up a hood, very likely just rushing that pipe for the team, and What did Navi have? It's all magic damage right now. Spirit Breaker with the bashes, the IO, very magic damage focus, and obviously big 3 core heroes are all almost entirely magic damage at this stage, gods.
And they just won't really be able to try and bring... Like, the ideal target at that point becomes kill him and force him to either just use his mech pipe on himself, like rather than like against the AoE damage, it's great, or you kill him before he uses them, but I don't think Navi have the ability to really do that.
Well, they know the ults are on cooldown, so they may have lost a massive team fight top, but they're going to try to take advantage of that black hole and Omniite cooldown to at least grab a Roshan. The Alpha Wolf is not as slow as it otherwise would be. Now an Aether Lens grabbed on the Omni. Man, great hero for that. It's just so hard to get kills if you're Navi. They don't have a solution for Repel. It really feels like they need just a brilliant puck initiation or maybe a 3-4 hero charge.
Man, Arteezy, he's been demoted to supporting this game.
He's really in struggle city.
He was against the Navi aggro tri lane, so this is definitely not shots fired at Arteezy.
And this is just not a comeback hero, the Venge.
No, that's the nice thing about the Venge is that you can still be very useful without the farm, so even though he's probably not going to catch up and be one of the top farmers at any point in this game, he can still get a lot done in a team fight just with... He's going to treads Aquila, throw drums in there. He could go for the Ag Scepter. I remember a game where Burning was on the Venge in the safe lane and was just having a rough game, but there was a mid hero that was carrying, like kind of like this game where you've got a farm support, a farm mid. You go for something like an Ag Scepter, it's just going to give your team that extra bit of team fight, having that second life.
What do you think Navi need to get done with this Aegis? I still see a tier 1 up on the top lane here. They're still playing quite aggressively in mid. Are there any particular objectives if you're Navi? You're like, we have to get something done with this Aegis, or they just sit back and farm?
I think they can't sit back and farm. They can't just expect to be able to 5-man down lanes and take towers. So that's where you'll just play into EG's hands. So they need to try and find the pickups. The 3-2 split they were doing, like before that, as bad as that team fight was, I think it was the right way to execute your draft. You have the Gyro pushing out the bottom lane while 3 heroes are grouped together at top. So the Gyro, if he gets ganked, he gets relocated out and you just sack the Wisp. And theoretically, you've just traded the Wisp for like farm across the map, which is okay for Navi. And if they take the fight top lane, then you relocate in and you get like a favorable kind of 5v5, 5v4 setup. So basically, don't get 3-man caught by Black Hole. the Black Hole and just the like EG's team fight, they just played it perfectly. But I think for Navi, strategically, they did was pretty correct there. The other
the tactical execution was lacking, but the strategy was good.
The thing they can do is try find some smoke ganks and look to get pickups using the puck blink dagger plus Spirit Breaker ideally.
An EG have so many defensive abilities. A swap, a grave, a heal, a repel, a mech, pipe soon to come, and just a mobile carry in the Ember. Really gonna have to time your execution right. EG on the aggressive.
Yeah, it seems they are going to look for that Gyrocopter BAB for the next fight, but as much as it keeps them alive, I'm not sure it's going to be a solution to EG.
Art style, the 3-hero charge out. Don't tell me this little fucker lives again. He's going to stick up and goes for the TP just late. Almost made it. Maybe could have kept the charge going a second or two longer and then gone for the TP, but tough one in the end. Still, Spirit Breaker tanking the 3-hero smoke gang.
Back in time to their tier 1 mid tower alive. They've got like, such constant map presence. Tier 1 tower still being up. It's where taking that top lane fight's so easy for them because it's right by tier 1 tower. So for Navi, they actually need to take down and break these tier 1 towers right now, which is becoming an ongoing problem.
It's not a strength of their lineup. They don't have much push. I guess the Helm of the Dominator and Ditya, but you look at some of the bans this game, most of them were on pushing heroes, whether it's a Brood, a Lone Druid, Prophet.
Gets even harder now because Sumail's Battle Fury is going to be up very, very soon.
Oh, there's the pipe too. Durability of EG.
Attack. Yep. And as far as BKB Black Holes goes, there is a Nether Strike to cancel it, but always entirely reliable. So this is this Enigma game is looking incredible as far as what Fear can do in a team fight. Once the Guardian Greaves as well, the aura is really nice, and it's a way to get rid of the puck silence as well.
To mention, he'll often be the repel target if the Ember doesn't need it.
Yeah.
See a little fish from Dendy. Very head forward.
I mean, you see, look at Arteezy. He's like willing to die here. He doesn't care. Like, if Navi want, they could burst him down before Omni Knight could theoretically save him. But at that point, you've just overcommitted for revenge.
This is a support Venge practically at this point.
Yeah, he's playing like that frontliner. Like, if he dies, doesn't matter. Kind of role here.
All right, they want to keep him alive. They give him the repel.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, yeah, you don't want to be taking casualties, but very much they know if Navi fully commit on him, it's a
Oh,
bad
they
fight.
are going to charge. They're committing into this massive defensive squad. The back comes out. Dendy looking for the opening. The coil only managed to find PPD. And then the black hole. Where's the cancel? Do they have anything? It doesn't look like an art style will end up falling the heels from EG. Too many methods to re-engage, turn the fight. Seneko likely to be next. There will be more cleanup by Sumail. 3 heroes wiped out. Again and again, EG not even taking a scratch. Literally all 5 at full health. Doesn't matter how much damage they take, not how much they can quickly remove from their heroes.
Their sustain is too much. Navi, there's no way they team fire now. It's got to resort to just full on flip push, kind of Ratdota oriented play, try and find pickoffs. They can't fight EG 5 man.
This could be bad. Is there any backup here? Charge comes out. Going to dive with the double damage, and it is going to wear off now, but they've got the whole squad marching on the high ground. Yaron, no such luck, will not have the saves available for him. The back comes out, but there's no real follow-up for it. No wall, no coil of any kind, just the call down. That's all they got, and it barely even ticked EG, hardly hitting anyone aside from the Ben support, and they turn on art style. Auto attacks get the job done.
TPD Grave TP's out as well. They're going to get the TP out on Benj as well. Everybody survives.
Literally a team of invincible heroes at this point. EG living a charmed life. Maybe Universe goes down. No, he has to repel too. And they got to slowly work him down with auto attacks. They do get the kill. At least the Omni Knight is fallen, but they want more. They know they've got to get some additional vengeance here. Charging, diving, the back to the mark.
They can kill him.
The missile. It's
big
so far to dive. Everyone's back in fighting position here.
PPD's already healed up. He's back in position for a grave if they need it. So they get the tier 1, but realistically, that is grim news for Navi as far as that last fight or 2 went.
And they're already just marching back down mid. 3 heroes for EG. Starting to feel like they've actually turned on invincibility mode. They can just continue pressuring towers. Yeah. The Eidolon's getting summoned now.
And Universe, as he was like right before he's dying, he's like, okay, I'll just spend my money. Started picking up just for his accent.
Yara needs a little help. The relocate is going to save him, but really cost EG a bit.
They see the relocate location if EG want to do it, but
it's a little bit far to dive without the Omni.
Yeah.
It seems they're going to slow roll it. Pressure for EG is, as you discussed, the late game seems to be in good shape. It gets slow now. Wait for a better opportunity to fully engage once the Black Hole and the Omni Knight are up, and well, I guess the question becomes now, gods, where do Navi go? They're down on kills. In terms of net worth, the Gyro doing well, but the rest of EG lapping him.
And it's a Gyro with BKB drums, so he hasn't got the best... he's got a Helm that dominates, so he can at least farm Ancients, but I think EG have such good fight, and they could theoretically just be pushing out lanes together and control those Ancients and not allow Gyrocopter just to be able to consistently free farm them. The Helm that dominated Gyro is scarier when the Gyro is like the team being the aggressors and when they're ahead, so in this situation it's just not going to be quite as powerful.
Navi do want to get a fight going while that Black Hole's on cooldown. It's 3 hero smoke. Relocate not available yet though, so won't have the IO a little bit longer. They're going to show their puck in the top lane now. The Initiator. A Yule Scepter, but the level of items Navi are acquiring here just doesn't seem to match what EG have. Pause. Raw fixing the hotkeys.
So recent pickup on the medallion for a bit of an unusual, I'd say, wisp item. Perhaps looking to try and make sure they can also get the next Roshan as well. I think for Navi, that's one important way to kind of keep themselves in the game and be able to take a team fight against EG.
Especially when EG have so many big one-hit wonder ultimates. You live through the Black Hole, the Omni ult, maybe on round 2 you can fight.
But realistically, like putting a medallion on someone on your team doesn't, like EG have lots of good spread damage, and I don't think it necessarily helps a whole lot for your team fight.
Oh no, more for the Aegis.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They're avoiding team fighting. Like they've got Gyrocopter bottom lane. That T2 tower may actually go down. It was very low earlier on. So for EG, they're kind of committing here, but they're not really the best at EG high ground.
They want to roll up the outer tower, so they push mid all the way in.
Yep.
And after they've shoved it there, they rotate on that top lane.
So it's like 2 tier 2s for the one at bottom, and it was a tier 2 bottom which was already very low on HP. And what's probably just going to happen, Navi, they keep pressuring bottom lane a little bit more. Make sure EG TP back and they don't stay on your side of the map. You don't want to just let the bottom lane not go unpressured here if you're
curious to see what EG look to do. Do they send someone home? It's not the fastest pushing here, the Gyro. They've picked the tier 2 and they are going to back.
They need to.
A little bit slow on the retreat though, and up the bat, Benj is almost gonna solo down Seneko, swapped out, does get the relocate off. We're gonna be coming right back and dying soon. Fear has been isolated in the top lane though. Again, they've caught the old man, and this time he goes for it. The massive black hole, the entire minion, almost enough damage, but it was close there from Sumail. Is he gonna die for this as well? Perhaps he's underestimated Navi's willingness to commit to this fight, and what was almost 4 heroes down ends up being a 2-for-1, and big scores for EG with how farm that Enigma is dropping.
You'll look back on that, like, win or lose this game and be like, yeah, that was probably one of the more questionable plays we've made.
If the Enigma had like 10 to 15% more HP, I think the black hole goes a little bit longer. Ember maybe auto attacks once or twice, and it's a totally different fight.
It was very close to working out for them, but unfortunately not quite. I mean, they had to TP back Hero's bottom lane. That was always going to be the play for EGs, like TP back 1 or 2 bottom. You want to try and catch the whip, and it looked like Seneko really overstayed bottom lane, letting himself get Venge done when he just TP'd like right in front of them. But I think it's because Navi baited with Seneko at bottom lane because they wanted to take the fight top. So like, okay, even when they TP him, we're going to make him like think they have a kill bottom lane and then just
maybe even give them one, but in order to set up this big play in the top lane.
As a result, Black Hole on cooldown, that's always a... That's the other kind of issue with big team fight, is that now Navi have full access to Roshan, at least without the fear of a black hole.
And they deny EG yet another defensive item, so they'll be additionally happy about that. If EG do contest, they're charging towards the pit. Looks like they were scouted out as they smoked. They even get there in time. Not the case. Blinky down into the river, and they still want to go. They're going to lead here with the Ember. Finds the 2 hero chains off the bat, dropping Dendy quite low. Then Remnant's forward, turning his attention towards Seneko. Wants to keep that IO out of the fight, and not quite low enough to get a kill. So Dendy engages. There's the coil. The backup's there from the back wall, and they don't have the black hole to turn it around. Universe still with the ultimate, not using it just yet. Fear dropping low, but tanking for ages, and then the Omni Knight ult. They just can't get these kills. Arc style on the run, tried for the charge, but he's going to be interrupted by the chain. Seneko could go down next through the trees. He winds his way, but no escape for him. Dityara has the second light. May well need it as they swap Axmo back in, and Arteezy just continues to pummel him with raw auto attacks. 4 down. A just popped. Perhaps a secondary kill on the gyro coming next. No BKB, no escape. Who needs black hole? EG. All they need is the power of teamwork, and they get 4 in an Aegis.
That's like the full 5v5 team fight is so heavily EG favored, and I think just mostly because the pipe plus Reeves that they have on this Enigma. And it's just insane that the black hole is not the important team fight. So if they land a black hole, you sure as hell bet they're going to win the fight in a 5v5 scenario. But for Navi, lacking damage here, you look at, they've got these big team fight ultimates, Dream Call, Vacuum, the Gyrocopter Cooldown, and they can use these really well together. We've seen a few times where they Dream Call a couple and vacuum them out to get the extra stun on them. But after that, there's no follow-up damage. They need single target burst damage to be able to kill heroes against the pipe and the Greaves, but that's something Navi don't have.
Single target is something that EG have in spades, and Sumail goes really deep on Seneko. Won't finish him off. He's now going to turn his attention back towards the puck. Dendy. Oh, the orb was on cooldown, and EG again finding the picks. There is a buyback on the puck. May have to use it. Even if he does, can they hold against the death ball? Didn't look like a death ball lineup, but the way they've itemized the advantage they've now accrued, it's starting to really feel that way. And by the way, black hole is ready, so you'd better be careful if you're Navi. Fear patiently holding it, probably waiting to counterplay when Navi engage, and after the charge in, off with his head is the move by the Ember. Nice grave, able to keep himself alive for now. Arteezy is going to back off, and EG re-engaging. There's the defensive relocate, driving Dityara back towards the tier 4s. They stun him, and they likely finish him. Down he goes as well. Mystery's been solved. EG's lineup is just a bit too strong. 5-man type of engagement. Sherlock, he's figured out the case. They are looking for the counterplay now. Maybe they can get PPD on the way out. Black hole was already committed, so they won't have that to try and reinitiate. Dityara being forced back, and Fear's just going to walk his way in onto Seneko. Isolates the IO. Down he goes, the raw auto attacks, and they're all back to full HP aside from the Dazzlers. Managed to survive through it all. Next, though, could well be next. There's the charge, trying to keep Mail back, but the bash from our style as he retreats towards the well. Navi just running for their lives, point out every stop to minimize the feed, but there is no such luck. Another death. 4 down. EG. bringing Deathball back in a very unexpected way.
And that's pretty much that. That was the Omni Enigma kind of duo that gave them the Deathball. I guess I don't think you can take away too much like what Venge and Dazzle bring to the table. Venge just for the auras and
Oh yeah.
what this hero is in like kind of an early game core role. Dazzle, it's still a hero. Peter absolutely loved the hero in the old patch. Kept talking about how like this is the hero you just pick and you draft anything around it. So getting it as a 5th pick for EG, I think. Because something they were quite happy with, and they'd probably already kind of kept in mind, like, hey, this Omni Enigma Venge, like Deathball, is really strong. Just run the Venge as the core, you get a Dazzle in there as well, and there's no way Navi can teamfight us. You've had not just the mech, the Greaves, you've got Dazzle, Shadow Wave, so it was just no way Navi could actually kill off any one hero there.
So where do you attribute the loss to? Is this just the lanes not getting enough done, better execution by EG? Should they have set things up a bit differently?
I don't think they punished EG's laning stage greed. So EG had 2 very kind of weak points in their lane stage. It's like they've got a jungling Enigma